feel free to start by introducing yourself. I know you've founded and exited multiple businesses, and it'd be really cool to hear a little bit about yourself and how you've done that.
Thank you, Alex, for finding time to arrange this call. So, to begin with, my name is Dan Mokaya. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. Over the last 6 years, I've exited six businesses, starting with
Nice.
2019 when I sold two businesses. Those were like in the e-commerce space. Uh, so if I have to go to these specifics, those were two FBA, Amazon e-commerce stores that I had scaled since the beginning of 2016 all through to 2019. So I came across a platform called Flipper, where I saw people talking about we are looking for e-commerce stores, mainly for Amazon stores. So I got curious and listed them. I listed one store. Within a month, it was less than a month, I got an inquiry, a serious buyer who we jumped on a call, the meeting, sent a letter of intent, and then sent a asset purchase agreement. We proceeded with the transfer of the store. I got interested and I got excited about the first offer. So I decided towards the end of 2019, and that's December, I listed the second store, which was also acquired the last day of that month, 31st December, before jumping to the new year for 2020. So I, the money that I got, I decided to set up another business around in Kenya, just an internet based focused business. I scaled it for 1 year, sold it in 2021. Decided now I think it's not time for me to do any physical business. So I decided to focus on micro-saas products, which I've sold three so far from 2022 until the last one that I sold 2024, the month of April. So that's what I've been doing. And I also want to mention that I have a background in computer science. So most of what I've been doing has been an advantage because of I have that skill of building from scratch and building the micro-SaaS to the ground up. So that's a brief intro about what I've been doing so far.
Nice, nice. And it sounds like it takes an incredible amount of skill to be able to build these products and exit
Yes.
consistently. So you say you had a background in computer science. Was that, how did you transfer that background in learning how to code to go on to build businesses and then to sell them?
That's a good question. So it's something while I was in high school, I like I developed an interest with computers. So I decided when the time is right, when I join uni, I'm going to focus on any IT related course. Specifically, I was interested in computer science. So I joined Kenyan University, where they accepted my application to join and just take the course for computer science. So on my second year, while I was, of course, I came across a potential client who was looking for an Android developer. So it's something that I had done, a unit. I thought that's something I can do. So we met physically in Nairobi. I had a meeting, explained everything that what he was looking for. I came up with the scope of how the front end design, the back end. So I was good at the front end. I knew a friend who could handle the back end. And he told us the budget was $500. Back That was in 2014. So of course, $500 was a lot of money at that time. So I got excited. Called my friend. I told him I have a gig here. We can split this money to you take 250, I take 250. Yeah, so that's how I first got the gig for just like doing some work and getting paid. It kind of changed my perspective because initially I was learning, graduate, get a 9 to 5 job, but here is somebody who just came and is willing to give me some work, freelance work, and is willing to pay me $500. So it kind of changed my perspective and decided like, okay, I think this is a good direction I can take. Let me just continue learning, but at the end of it, I don't think I'm going to look for a job. I could go this direction where like I can just do projects for clients and I get paid. So that has been the motivation all through towards even the exits that I was able to get.
No, it's really, really interesting. And so going from there, what did you find the main challenges were? Like, how many failed projects have you have in comparison to successful ones?
That's a good question. So there are so many failed projects that I've done. While in campus, I used to
Yes.
develop a lot of tools that I feel maybe I felt like these are tools maybe people might need. One specific example, there's an application that I made. So I saw Facebook used to have a feature for if it's your birthday, there's a way they send a notification to your friends so they can wish you a happy birthday. So I thought of what if I create a separate tool where like it gets to match, you get to meet people you share birthdays with, and you can interact with them, you can wish each other's birthday and everything. So it's something that I saw if I build this specifically, maybe people might go for it, maybe people might use it, but it failed. So I think it never got to peak, never got to have users apart from the small circle of friends who are invited to use the tool. Yeah, plus many other tools, of course, that have failed in the process. So there are quite a number. So in terms of the number of success projects that I've done, I think there are so far 6 projects. Failed projects are more than 10.
Yes. No, that's always the case. It always takes many failures and go on to build successful ones. But I think 10 failures and 6 successes is one of the better ratios I've seen. Normally, I see 10 failures and 1 to 2 successes. So that's really cool. And yeah, just moving on. So I'm aware that you've built a EdTech product and were able to exit that. Are you able to tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. So about the last exit that I took, that was last month. So it's an EdTech tool for that specifically focused on student productivity. So when I mean student productivity, this is a tool that simplifies task management by allowing students to create, organize, and prioritize the assignments and study tasks in one centralized location. So students are able to set up their deadlines, assignments, do a study plan on how they can manage their reading, and some aspect of it does focus on student unique needs. Like you can create student group discussion. You can store your your resources, be it if maybe there are additional resources that you need, you can store them on the platform. And on top of that, I also had integrated an AI tutor where you like you can take advantage of AI just to like do some bit of
Nice.
research in case you get stuck in the process of learning. So that's just part of the features that were in that platform. And so it's a platform that I developed last year, July, that's 2023. Did some aspect of marketing on it, did a product hunt, launch, and I also had a chance to join other editor communities where I was able to share the tool. And at the time of exit, I had 100 active users. and it was generating some good revenue in terms of monthly recurring revenue. So the buyer, who of course showed interest to acquire the tool, did show. We had a meeting with the buyer. So after the acquisition, he had plans. He has plans of repurposing the entire platform to Web3. So that's currently what I'm assisting the buyer to repurpose the entire platform. So it will be an exciting platform, and I can't wait to launch it to many other people to just have a look and interact with the platform.
And when you say to change it to Web3, what would that entail?
Well, at this, of course, there are some amazing features that I'm not allowed to talk about at this
For
moment.
sure, yeah.
Working on it, but I can say like there will be some aspect of there will be a wallet where you can get some tokens. There will be some NFT and many other features. So it's something that I'm also excited about. So it should be ready in a month.
Nice, nice. And do you see Web3 as having a large potential for the future of learning? And do you see that could happen to a lot of other products and businesses that they could move to Web3 for learning?
Yeah, so um, I see a lot of potential. Initially, I have not done any project in Web3, but with the kind of meetings I've been having with the new buyer, I've had a chance to see the enormous potential that Web3 does hold, uh, specifically in the EdTech space. So it's been an eye opener. So, of course, I see a lot of potential, and I'm hoping that this project will be part of that success when it's launched.
Cool. No, that's definitely interesting. And just going back to the product. So how, obviously you started off with the idea. How were you able to take this from just an idea to an exit? Like how did you do things like market research, product market fit, etc.?
Yeah, sure. So what normally happens is if I want to build a product, I will first maybe do some aspect of product survey, like I do some analysis on the current products that are available, go through their reviews, see what customers are complaining about. It kind of helps you understand before you develop the product, like what are those pain points that customers are facing with the current platforms. So normally I just go through the feedback. It can be on Twitter. Oh, sorry. It can be on, I can do a Google search. I can do other review or feedback platforms just to get the feedback on what customers are not satisfied with. Then from there, I pick those features that they are complaining about and work on the product. Alternatively, I can also do what these huge enterprise platforms. They normally give you all the features, so many features that maybe some of those features people don't want. So with that, I tend to like narrow down with to a specific niche. So a specific niche, I can say like if an enterprise A does offer 10 features, and the subscription fee for a month is around $200. I just pick one feature out of those 10 and narrow down. So with that, I know like there are users who feel the pain of paying for so much, and they only need one feature. So with that, it does help me come up with a product that I feel like does solve a specific a problem. So then I set up a landing page with a wait list option on it. So with that, it does help me understand the aspect of are there people willing to give their email for an update when I launch this product. So if a person is willing to leave an email, it means they kind of relate to the kind of tool that you're trying to solve, and you're trying to solve a problem maybe they might be facing and they're interested in that solution. So when I set up a wait list, normally my target is 100 emails. before I start working on the tool. So once I hit that target, I start working on the tool because it has already given me enough reason that there are 100 people willing to test this product. So from there, I'll develop the product, and once it's up and running, I will share it on Reddit, do some aspect of launch on Product Hunt, and also get it listed on several directories.
And so you've built products in different industries. How did EdTech compare to any other industries? Was there any differences or similarities?
Um, that's a good way of so on my opinion, I feel the developments phase is same, but again when it comes to the marketing aspect, it's a bit different because the tool was focusing on students. So how do you market it to students? I think you first have to market it to parents who feel like this tool might good for my kid or our kids. Then also try to do some aspect of marketing to EdTech communities where there are members who show interest in such tools, and also look reaching out to various schools. So that's something that the marketing aspect was quite different because it's just students. The other tools that I've sold before, just they're just for the masses. Anybody is interested in. So the last two tools that I sold were specifically in the AI space, micro-saas AI space. So that explains that anybody who is interested in AI and just want to try the tools, they can try it. But for the EdTech, I think it's a niche product and the marketing was a bit challenging. So that's why maybe I decided like it's time for me to offload this asset to somebody who might have better skills, better marketing strategies, and a better vision than mine to take it to the next level.
Yes, that makes sense because when you are marketing edutech tools, you're targeting schools, you're targeting parents of students, and yeah, it's quite niche, and two, it's also that they don't always have the largest of budgets. Like schools aren't the biggest spenders in the world. Students are often have low budgets, so yeah, it's really difficult to market that. So yeah, that's
Correct.
quite exceptional if you can build products for these and get them successful. And in the future, what are your plans? Do you ever think you would build another edutech, or what do you have planned?
Well, I can never say no. If there happens to be a chance to work on another EdTech tool, I'm open. I'm open to such plans. And I feel it was an exciting journey. I just have to maybe make it a bit different. So where like it can target, it just doesn't focus on just students. It can also focus on other people who I'm maybe doing some aspect of higher learning, people doing some masters. So I could maybe focus on more of adults, just an edtech tool that for adults, but not for just young students. So that way, it's so easy to target such individuals, and it's easy for them to subscribe, whether it's an annual subscription, monthly subscription. Yeah, I think that's maybe the kind of strategy I might consider if at any point I consider having another tool in the edtech space.
And do you have anything else more planned in general? I see through Twitter that you've been building a community and you've got a few other things going on.
Yeah, so currently I'm working on three products. So I have an existing a business that just focuses on it's a design studio that focuses on UI UX. So that's currently running. It's been running since last year October. I also, yeah, you did notice that I'm building a community of indie makers. Currently, the group is at 420 members, and it's still growing. It's less than
Nice.
so I'm happy to do that. And most people are, of course, looking up to me, just like they really want to know how they can build, monetize the platform, and take an exit, just like I did. So I'm there to also help them whenever I can. We jump on calls, help each other, and everything. It's more of like a community to learn from each other, grow from together, and just share any other resources that I might not know, but some people might know. It's more of like networking. So, and the last tool that I'm also planning to build this month is a product hunt for the African space. So I did notice that there are so many developers building some amazing tools in Africa. But after they build, they kind of struggle with the marketing aspect. So they are like, okay, I have the tool up and running, no customers. So where do I launch it? So it's a challenge. So which normally makes them dump the product and just go on to the next. So that's something. Those are the kind of feedbacks that I've been getting from the community. So I thought maybe if we have a platform where people can just like launch after the build, they can launch on the platform, and active buyers who willing to get a discount, lifetime membership, and everything. It can help such developers. So those are the three projects that I'm currently actively engaged. And of course, the fourth is the repurposing of Web3, which we should be. I should. It's not a long-term project, so that's why maybe I didn't mention it. I should be done. It should be ready now in like 3 weeks from now. So then I shift my focus on the other three products.
And you touched there on the product hunt you're building for Africa. What differences would you say there are for building product? You touched on the marketing as well. How would you say it's different for building products in Africa versus the rest of the world?
So for the African space, I feel they are so. I can say like in the African space, the job they not everybody is lucky to get a job, especially if they're in the tech space. So there is a high rate of jobless individuals, but who have the right skill. So such people of those such people tend to like okay, just build something and see whether it can, they can get funded. More of like they're building a startup, then go out there to seek VC funding, which sometimes a small percentage end up getting lucky to get the funding, but most people are not lucky. So those are the kind of individuals that I'm more interested in. I'm looking forward to empower and just see them, succeed. If maybe they are not able to get employed, they can also build something and scale it up and just be something. And maybe at some point, who knows, they can get an exit and an exit that can change their lives. So in the rest of the world, I don't know much about that, so I can talk more about what's happening outside Africa. But in Kenya specifically, I know that there are so many individuals who are talented in what they do. And I've come across so many amazing tools since I created the community. I'm like, okay, this is amazing. Like this, a Kenyan individual creating this SaaS tool. You look at the front end, you are amazing. You just like feel happy knowing that okay, this is interesting. It's just like maybe the only aspect they're missing is the marketing aspect, like for people to discover those tools and use them. So yeah, that's what maybe I'm interested in, and I feel like maybe at some point the world will get to know about what those tools. I just like we'll have a platform where those tools will be displayed and people can get to interact with them.
Yeah, yeah, it certainly sounds like there's a lot of amazing products there that are just waiting to be discovered or just need the right marketing. So yeah, that's really
Yes.
interesting. Yeah, you touched on people getting VC funding. Is that something you'd ever consider trying to go down the VC funding route and building a big business, or are you committed to the micro-saas route?
Um, well, before I tried the micro-saas thing, I didn't mention that I tried the VC route back in 2021. So uh, I was creating a breaks for the Kenyan market, breaks, spend desk for the Kenyan market. So I put up everything and decided it's time I reach out to the VC and get funded. So it took me 6 months to, back and forth, reaching out several funds, and it never worked. So I decided I can't be wasting time chasing the funding if it can take me 2 years without getting funded. So I decided what I can do is I can build micro-SaaS tools, scale them up global. So the kind of tools that I build are tools that somebody in Indonesia, somebody in the US, somebody in Australia can use and interact and pay for them. So I decided what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the micro-SaaS tools, scale them up, and sell them on acquire.com. Then the money that I get, I'll just save it and come back and build those that I use I called it to Mizi Pay. So it's more of like spendex for BC to BC, managing spend management, giving employees a spend debit card, monitoring your expenses and everything. So that's something that I decided maybe. So that's the kind of strategy that I'm using. So I'm building, scaling. Any funding that I get from the exits, I'm going to inject it on that tool. And maybe if I scale it to a certain level and there are people out there interested in investing, of course I'm open to those opportunities. I can't just say I'm strictly an indie maker. I'm also open to such opportunities. Yeah. So
Yeah, never say never, right?
yeah, sure, for real.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, you've obviously built a lot of things, built a lot of micro-SaaSes and had a real wealth of experience. Slightly unrelated, but what would you say the best education you can receive is to do these things? It could be online communities, books, online courses. What's the best thing someone could do as someone to build online SaaSes, micro-SaaSes?
So for me, so I'll take you back. So the two e-commerce stores that I sold back in 2019, it was because of Quora community. When I started the
Yes.
Amazon e-commerce stores, I was broke, I'm about to graduate and I'm just wondering, so what are the available options out there? Because I was not open to the 9 to 5 option. So I decided a friend of mine told me there's an interesting community called Quora. So just go there and sign up. And there are so many interesting stories and so many topics that might interest you. So when I joined, the first thing I did search is how do I make money online? So there is an interesting individual I think it was called Edward somebody from the US. Just made a good post and told people if you're looking to make money online, you can do drop shipping on Amazon. So that's like you source cheap items from Alibaba, ship them to Amazon FBA warehouse. They do everything for you. And you can also buy the items and you drop ship. Like whenever you get an order on Amazon, you send them out. So it did work for me, which ended up like me getting two exits in 2019. So coming to the micro-SaaS thing, I saw Andrew Gazdecki tweet about him building the platform. Back then it was called Micro Acquire. So it was a platform where like you, an individual, if you have a micro SaaS tool, you can just put it on sale and you'll have individuals willing to pay. So it kind of inspired me. So this is on the Twitter space. So people, this amazing tool, I can actually give it a shot. And it was free to list. For Flipper, you just have to pay a fee. So I was open to this other, and this is just an individual who is always sharing, or this, if you're building this, do this, do this. I also got to interact with other indie makers. I think there's an individual called Peter Levels. There's another one called Dan. There are so many on Twitter. They are oversharing on how you can make it. So for me, having a community where you inspire each other, grow together, and get to learn from each other is something that I can never take for granted, because it kind of changed my life in 2019, even from the beginning of 2016. Having somebody overshare on what you can do without gatekeeping. I'm also willing to share such information to the community that I'm currently running.
Cool, well, that's interesting, and I can definitely attest to the quality of people you meet on Twitter and Quora. There's some amazing people like yourself and people building all sorts of things, and yeah, it's definitely a new world. You mentioned that you didn't want to get a 9 to 5. What was it specifically about the 9 to 5 that you didn't want?
Waking up in the morning. I'm more of a night person. From even the time zone of this call, this is when I get more active. So it was more of a challenge. I did an internship where, like, it was a 3 months period. So the waking up in the morning was not my thing. So I was more of like, if I can do something towards evening at night, I could be more comfortable with that. So mainly that was the main challenge for me.
Cool. Well, no, that's great. That's everything, and thank you very much for joining. It was great to hear about all your stuff.